If you want my landing page secrets, then you need to look at the last video I did. If you haven't done it already, that's the link below in this video, because I'm covering 4 landing pages that get really good results, really killer results, especially from YouTube ads and Facebook ads and social media ads. So you're going to want to check this out if you want to make more money online. If you don't, you can always go check out Netflix. I'm John Benson, and this is Sales Copy Secrets. Welcome back, and here we go with the second part of my 2-part series on killer landing pages and their secrets, man, so you can get more leads and more sales and hopefully make a lot more money online. Let's dive into the training right now. If you are a copywriter or a marketer or someone looking to make more money online, if you are a banker or a house builder or a dog, if you're a dog, why are you listening to me? Bark, bark, wolf. If you're a cat, then you know I just told that dog to take over the world. So we're in trouble because cat speaks dog, but dogs don't speak cat. Anyway, you want to check this out. So let's dive into the training right now. Okay, here's a totally different genre. Okay, this is an ad that led to this landing page, Attention Mortgage Loan Officers. Now, if you will remember the first thing I said in the first video about this stuff that is below that you should watch, or you should feel very naughty and ashamed and really just, I don't know. I question your sanity, but you should watch it if you haven't already. Now, I talked about Todd Brown's ad and how the pre-header, which is what we're talking about here, the pre-header could have been a little bit more specific if he had if he knew who they were. In other words, he knew who his top avatars were. Well, Attention Mortgage Loan Officers. It does not get more specific than that unless you were to say Attention Mortgage Loan Officers who happen to be 5'7". That would be more specific and also really stupid. So we know who the avatar is. Attention Mortgage Loan Officers. Very simple. Not anything to say bad or good about this. Just is what it is and very direct. Get 60 exclusive home buyer appointments that are guaranteed to show up and are ready to have a sales conversation. That's a damn good headline. And I'll tell you why. Now, it's not flashy. It doesn't have to be flashy. It starts with the power word of get. I love the word get. Get. It's not like, build or make or find or, things that sound hard. Get sounds really easy. I'm going to get that, right? 60. How much more specific can I be? 60. Not some. Get more exclusive. Now, more is not a good word. 60 is a very good word. It's a number in this case, but let's pretend it's also a word because it is. Exclusive. Okay, right off the bat, we got 3 very powerful words. Get 60 exclusive. Now, that's going to be powerful to people that know this business. Part of the problems, and from what I understand, I don't know it that well, but is exclusive home buyer appointments is a lot different than just home buyer appointments. So exclusive sounds pretty high end, right? 60, a number that you can wrap your head around and go, wow, that's a lot, probably if you're a mortgage loan officer. And get. Okay, so there we go. Home buyer appointments, great, that are guaranteed to show up and ready to have a sales conversation. Okay, and look at what they did here. It's not a without worrying if they're going to show up or without worrying if they're not ready to have it. So that's the way that you could phrase it. In other words, these are rebuttals. These are objections. They're covering objections right off the bat, but they're doing it in a positive way. Guaranteed to show up, ready to have a conversation. So that's a lot different, and it's very powerful in this particular instance, okay? Because there's not much more that somebody wants that's a mortgage loan officer, okay? Guaranteed to show up is one of the biggest complaints. I guarantee you that this person knows it's one of the biggest complaints that these loan officers have, because it's probably true of anyone in real estate. They just don't show up, okay? It's true of a lot of coaching and consulting businesses too. Their appointments book and then they just don't show up. Well, these are guaranteed to show up right off the bat. That really puts this headline and this offer in a club all of its own, which is very good, and ready to have a sales conversation. Notice there's nothing here that's going to frown, that's going to make Facebook frown on them or YouTube frown on them. Any of the Google tech overlords that we have are not going to frown on this. Guaranteed to show up is not, it's a claim, and it's a very bold one, but you know what? They're going to say show up. It's not that big of a deal. It didn't say guaranteed to buy. Boy, they would have never ran that one. And ready to have a sales conversation, that's a perfect way of saying, hey, they're ready to talk turkey. They're ready to possibly buy something or ready to get a mortgage or whatever. And without saying it, point blank, hey, ready to give you their money. Okay, so we got a good headline. Now look at the subheadline. Never speak with a bad lead ever again. Clearly, this person thinks that their number one problem that these mortgage loan officers face is that they're having bad conversations and they're not showing up. That's what they think. So he reiterates the second promise, ready to have a sales conversation. Never speak with a bad lead again. Okay, it's kind of the same thing, but it's not. Look at the differences. A bad lead is someone who wouldn't be ready to have a conversation and who wouldn't show up, but he phrased it differently. A bad lead ever again. That's an awesome promise, but it's also one that's not going to trigger too many of the authoritarian people that are overlording our ads and stuff. I'm not going to say who that is. Okay, so check this out. We'll generate your leads, call them, qualify them, then book an appointment with you in the lead. Okay, that is like, oh, you just leave that to the very last, right? Well, they kind of had to, because if they would have ended with never speak to a bad lead again, it wouldn't have been as powerful. But that is a very powerful promise, so powerful that I would bet, if they haven't already, that they should use that as a headline, to create a headline around that promise. We'll generate your leads, we'll call, qualify them, book an appointment for you, you sit on your butt, and you close the deal. You make the money. That's pretty powerful, okay? So get a price for them to do that. Notice the button is jiggling up and down. Get a price. That's a great, that's cool, and it's not accidental. Get, very powerful verb there. And the bouncy button, it can be a plus and a negative. You have to test it. There are buttons that do this now that kind of jiggle sideways, and they probably work because I see them a lot, but you have to test it, okay? Now, that button does not jump out and grab you with a color. Notice the color is kind of muted. The get a price is a little hard to read. They might want to play around with the button colors, but other than that, really, really good. Now, look right below that. You got little pictures, join 100 plus mortgage offer. In other words, we've got people that are already doing this with us, and here are some of their pictures, just a little bit of social proof, and that's enough for this page. The rest of it is taken care underneath. You see Fox, Yahoo, Disrupt, CBS News. So those logos are there. Now, not sure what they're there for, but it gives you the impression that this person has been on these particular media outlets. So in other words, we got social proof, an insane guarantee, one that is going to pass compliance in most cases, and a very easy to understand call to action. An excellent landing page. But let's look at how they did with their smartphone version of this. Okay, at the very top, we see the same problem that we saw in the first video that if you didn't watch, you were really, really not my favorite person in the world. So you can become my favorite person in the world, as far as you know. Look, get 60 showed appointments. Okay, notice that's different than get 60 exclusive home buyer appointments. Interesting. So that tells me something, that they're testing different headlines. Okay, that's good. You need to test different headlines, but check this out. It's not showing up. Appointments Gara. Okay. So you could easily fix this again on mobile. You would want to do this, right? So that you don't mess it up on others. But notice that you have attention mortgage brokers right here. It's not going to mess anything up on the sales page. This is a page title, and you can make sure your page title shows up by not making it this long. If you can't see my hands are this long. That's not good. Make it very powerful. 60 showed appointments. Boom. Something like that, or get 60 showed appointments under exclamation point. Simple. That would have showed up. Great. Okay. But everything else on this page is really well done. Now let's look at our second example for the day, and let's see how they did. Okay. Here we have a guy. Now I don't know who this guy is. As far as I know, he could be making tens of millions of dollars. That is pretty interesting, if I do say so myself, because I want you to notice what happened. I'm going to reload this page, and I want you to pay careful attention. As I reload the page, notice what happens. The video changes, the video plays, it's all this action, right? It's all this action going on in the video. You see something happening, and that is very, very, very good. Guess where it didn't autoplay? If you think to yourself, John's going to show me something on the smartphone, you're right. And obviously when I show you the smartphone, it's a screen capture, so of course it's not going to autoplay. But it did not autoplay for me. So this gentleman, and looks like he's doing some really good stuff. I don't know who he is, but look forward one of the day to maybe meeting him. But he needs to be using a tool like Vidalytics. Okay, Vidalytics is one tool I use all the time as my video player because they autoplay on smartphones, including iPhones. And if you don't think that makes a big difference, imagine this page looking like this. Check this out. Okay, this is the page on a smartphone. Now, I'm jumping ahead. I'm not getting into the copy yet. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently than I did the other ones because notice at the very top, download now. That's great. Hey, he was thinking through this. but didn't think quite far enough, or just didn't have time, probably ran out of time, that he didn't use something like Vitalytics, or there are other players that do this, that would allow this to play, this video right here, to play instantly. Again, this is a graphic, so obviously it's not going to play, but it did not play on my smartphone. So this is a big, big problem that you really need to fix. Okay, one other thing I'm going to talk about is that big green button down there. Okay, check that. Yes, send my free download now. That is excellent. That's an excellent command. Send me my stuff, man. But notice all that gobbledygook underneath it. Click here to secure your free copy today before it's too late. I have 20/30 vision, okay? Believe it or not, I'm like 99 million years old and I have 20/30 vision. Go figure. And I had a hard time reading that. I mean, just reading it from a laptop, okay? Imagine someone on a phone, never gonna read it. So this needs to be its own link. This click here to get your blah, blah, blah underneath the button and make it a hyperlink. That's going to increase his link clicks on this page 100%. Now let's get back over to the actual page and we'll dissect the copy now. Now, everything I said on the other page is going to hold true. The green button has got too much copy on it. It needs to have something underneath it. The simple to follow formula that took me from working in a coffee shop to a fun, exciting life as a digital freelancer. Ooh, okay. Well, I happen to know, because of the copy work that I've done for a company called Entra, they use coffee shop millionaire, working from a coffee shop, etc., and built a very large company based on that, because a lot of people would love to take a laptop to a coffee shop. So I think he means working in a coffee shop as a barista. So if he did mean that, full stack marketer, whomever you are, if you did mean that, that is not how a lot of people are reading it. It's certainly not how I read it. So I can almost guarantee you I'm not the only person on the planet that's going to misread that. I think that's what he meant. I'm not watching the video, obviously, so I'm not sure. So if he does mean that, it took me from serving coffee or being a barista to a fun and exciting life as a digital freelancer. Now, look, what he did, again, it's the 4 out of 4 here with the quotes, right? I think 4 out of 4, at least 3 out of 4. The digital freelancer. You're not sure what a digital freelancer is, but it sounds pretty cool. You don't know what it is. So freelancing market secrets. If you're in, his avatar has to kind of know that a freelancer has something to do with the arts, something to do with working on their own, something to do obviously with computers. It's not a lot here. So he's targeting by his ads people that either understand this or would be ripe for this. If not, it's not enough information to know. He needs a sub-headline to explain how juicy and awesome a digital freelancer's life really can be and get a little bit more specific. So that's what I would add to this, okay? Now, he is making a compliant headline. A simple to follow formula that took me from working as I'm going to assume working as a barista to a fun and exciting life. He did not say to making $10 million. So this is 1000% compliant. Fun and exciting life as a digital freelancer. It's so compliant, it's almost boring. Well, it is, for me, it is actually totally boring. But I mean, because fun and exciting isn't boring. But I'm talking as a copywriter. As a copywriter, I'm thinking fun and exciting life. Yes, people want to have a fun and exciting life. But it sounds a little bit like, hey, fun and exciting life as you get, it sounds a little bit too much like that, like the radio guy. And if he could just figure out a way to say this without saying, to being a multimillionaire but it needs to be some sort of a bigger promise. Fun and excitement is good, but we're just not motivated by that as much as we are motivated by things that really make a difference to us. So I'd make this a difference-making headline, like to never having an unopened bill ever again. Okay. Never having an unopened bill just gives you the impression, and I just made that up off the top of my head, but gives you the impression that if he's never got an unopened bill, they're either all open and paid for, or he just, or I guess that would be the only thing that could give you, or he's throwing him in the garbage, I guess, ripping him up. He's opening like that, right? But something to say, I can take care of myself financially now, because that's really what it's about for these people. They want to do something that is going to take care of them financially much better than the job that they're in. Okay, so download your free gift today on the right. Really good, very simple. Freelance marketing secrets. Can't go wrong. He took Russell's headline and made it his own. Hey, Russell's done that occasionally. We all have. Every one of us has. So that's all good. Yes, send me my free download. We've already talked about that. And the last thing I'll say is notice the video. The video is continuing to play here. And if I click on the video, something tells me it's going to start from the start. And it does. That's great. Now, one thing, he starts from the start with this real high energy stuff, and that's really cool. He may want to test starting from the start with a powerful promise. Watch this video for the next 28 seconds. I'm going to show you something that helped make me over $10,000 in 4 hours. Now I'm making this up, but some big promise, some big thing. And notice what I did. It helped make me this. Well, you can make those claims in most check with the attorney. I'm not an attorney, blah, blah, blah. But most of the times you can make those claims and get by with it as long as you can prove it. So if he holds up a bank statement or something and he proves it, or if somebody asks him to, he can prove it. That is a powerful intro. It's a little bit more juicy than saying, hey, this looks like a video from Anthony Robbins. And I love Anthony Robbins. Anthony Robbins is an awesome guy. Help me. If it wasn't for Tony Robbins, I never would have started my first business. I love you, Tony, wherever you are. But that being said, that's not going to sell me as much as giving me a promise that's specific to a digital freelancer. Are you following me? Good. And if you like that video, then you're going to love the videos I have for you linked below today, because they're all about how you can make more money online as a copywriter or marketer. And guess what? I'm John Benson. And as always, I'm here to help make you unignorable.